Creating secure, safe, and challenging environments that promote play interactions and learning is fundamental for achieving and maintaining quality early childhood education programs. Our vision is to support the learning and positive choices of each prep student. Their learning experiences comes from their interaction and engagement with their classroom and the people around them. In our classroom, we plan to implement the assertive discipline theory and the choice theory to support children's positive choices and pro-social behaviours. A well-planned curriculum should allow teachers to maintain and build on academic performance of students, support, and to develop the social and emotional well-being of each student and to minimise differences between settings. In today's presentation, the practical components of the environment in our foundation year level classroom is a sensory area, their workstations, and a group instruction area. The equipment in the sensory area is dictated by the needs of your students, frequently recommended by the occupational therapist working with your students. This area's objective is to provide a safe place for students who might need alone time to manage their feelings at school. A sensory area may contain a mirror to help identify emotions, a swing, a beanbag chair, or a quiet area such as a small tent. The sensory area might have a shelf containing a box full of fidget spinners or fidget cubes. A collection of these small items, such as stress balls, can be kept in a small clear plastic box for students to use who seem to always need something in their hands. A workstation is a place for students to begin a task, to do a task and finish a task, and put the finished task away without assistance. The use of a workstation is an instructional strategy that teaches appropriate work habits and independence. For each station, there needs to be a desk and a place to put students' books and completed work, which is normally a locker that's attached to their desk. In a prep classroom, it's important that the chairs and the desks are appropriate to the size of the student, meaning they need a small desk which gives them enough space to work effectively and without them being distracted by other students around them. This area is where the teacher is able to introduce new material to every student at once. This ensures every student is exposed to key concepts and new information on a particular topic. In this area, students may share ideas, ask questions, and actively comment without being expected to raise their hands before speaking. To plan and implement a sensory area in a foundation classroom, you need to ensure that very young children can have access toys that they want to play with by placing them on shelves or in baskets on the floor that support a child's capacity to be able to reach them, and for them to be able to make the choices in regards to which toys they want to play with. Also, you need to provide equipment and resources which children can use in multiple ways to promote exploration and creativity. For example, using large wooden blocks is a way for a child to be creative, as they're able to build different things and use their imagination in creative ways. Blocks can be used in many ways, indoors and outdoors, and by children across a wide age range. To implement and plan for a workstation in a foundation classroom, the desks and chairs need to be in appropriate size manner to ensure each student has enough room to work effectively. In a foundation classroom, containers of pencils, glue, and scissors should be allocated to each workstation, enabling students to have access to complete their work effectively and in a timely manner. Also, if the student is physically active and needs to move around frequently, locating the work a short distance away so that he or she must leave his or her seat to get away or to put workaway allows opportunities for purposeful movement. Some teachers use stacked rolling bins, shelves, or filing bins on the floor besides the student's chair to prevent inappropriate behavior. In planning and implementing a group instruction area in a foundation classroom, the learning space typically has to be at the front of a classroom or in front of a board. The teacher needs to ensure there is enough floor space to allow each student to sit comfortably without being distracted by their peers, and to ensure that each student has a clear view of the educator and the whiteboard, or the interactive whiteboard, depending on what is being taught. Also, the teacher will need writing materials when using a whiteboard, a chalkboard, or an interactive whiteboard. The teacher needs a place to store the materials during the group lessons, because if the teacher is running from one end to the classroom to another trying to find materials, this can cause distraction and the use of inappropriate behavior. The materials should be stored on a shelf or in something portable such as a basket, a rolling cart, or a plastic tub.
The Australian Professional Standards for Teachers is one policy that connects to our learning environment for the foundation students. You can improve your practices inside and outside of the classroom by referring to these standards. The teacher standards consist of 7 standards, which teachers will meet at different levels depending on the career stage and level of experience they are currently in. We believe that Standard 1, Know Your Students and How They Learn, as well as Standard 4, Create and Maintain Safe and Supportive Environments, best fit the idea of maintaining a foundation classroom that promotes positive learning and behaviour to progress and enlighten all learners. Both these standards within the policy allows for graduate teacher to explore the ways in which every student can participate in the learning. She is able to implement and later reflect on a range of inclusive learning strategies, such as the use of more specific questioning, assigning specific roles to students, and the use of more precise questioning. Furthermore, connections to key curriculum is vital to consider when setting up a new classroom at the beginning of each school year and throughout the year. In particular, we believe that in accordance to the foundation classroom, the following 3 key curriculum areas are very important. These include personal and social capability, which supports students in becoming creative, confident individuals who, as stated in the Melbourne Declaration on Educational Goals for Young Australians, have a sense of self-worth, self-awareness and personal identity that enables them to manage their emotional, mental, spiritual and physical well-being with a sense of hope and optimism about their lives and the future. Secondly, ethical understanding involves students building a strong personal, social and oriented ethical outlook that helps them to manage context, conflict and uncertainty, and to help develop an awareness of the influence and their values and behaviour have on others. It does this through fostering the development of personal values and attributes such as honesty, resilience, empathy and respect for others. And lastly, intercultural understanding, which combines personal, interpersonal and social knowledge and skills. It involves students learning to value and view critically their own culture, perspectives and practices and those of others through their interactions with people, texts and contexts across the curriculum. We believe that all components found within the learning environment for the foundation students will help promote positive learning and behaviour for all students in different ways by supporting collaboration, sharing through the use of materials that engage learners to work either individually or in groups depending on the activities set by the teacher. Each student will experience changes in these behaviours. Some aspects will have a greater impact on some students compared to others. In saying this, it is important that teachers are reminded of the fact that classroom grade is packed with students who learn in a variety of different ways as implemented through Gardner's multiple intelligent theory. If in this imaginary foundation classroom the teacher has organised the class into different sections, each dedicated to one or more of the 7 intelligences. Curriculum is thematic, and the areas provide 7 different ways for the students to learn the subject matter. For example, the foundation learning environment allows all students to learn each day's lesson in 7 ways. They build models, dance, make collaborative decisions, create songs, solve deductive reasoning problems, read, write, and illustrate all in one school day. The students develop increased responsibility, self-direction, and independence over the course of the year. The self-direction and motivation of the foundation students will be apparent to numerous classroom visitors. The students will become more skilled at developing their own projects, gathering the necessary resources and materials, and making well-planned presentations of all kind. Secondly, discipline problems will be significantly reduced. Students previously identified as having serious behaviour problems will potentially show improvement due to the independence in some of the areas of the classroom. Additionally, cooperative learning skills will be improved in all students, since so much of the curriculum activities set by the teacher each day across all the learning areas will be collaborative. Students will become highly skilled at listening, helping each other, sharing leadership in different activities, accommodating group changes, and introducing new classmates to the program. They will learn not only to respect each other, but also to appreciate and call upon the unique gifts and abilities of their classmates. Intentional teaching is an active process and a way of relating to the children that embraces and builds on their strengths. When early educators and teachers use intentional teaching practices, they take an active role in the children's learning. Teachers invite children to share their interests and ideas, identify opportunities to help children to become involved in play, and build on interests and ideas that they observe that day. Teachers recognise that children's learning occurs in social contexts and make deliberate, well-planned decisions to support learning through children's social interactions with a range of partners, forming strong connections to the foundation classroom that has been exemplified throughout this presentation. As a classroom teacher, it is vital that you recognise that a range of teaching strategies are incorporated within the teaching and learning daily to respond to the age and learning characteristics of the foundation students. In this specific learning environment, a culture of high expectations exists, and foundation students are encouraged to aspire to excellence. The classroom teacher promotes values of care, concern, honesty, and respect. Each interaction in our community will be carried out with the expectation that these values underpin the dialogue and actions of every individual. An essential aspect of building relationships with students is getting to know them and demonstrating their personal interest in them. In particular, the technology is utilised in every part of this classroom. It is utilised on a daily basis and strongly supports the teaching of the foundation students. Many Australian schools are working to achieve different classrooms and personalised learning for students through the use of technologies. Promises of the integration of technologies into teaching and learning include the technologies enabling teachers to be learner-focused and teach students' perspective, interests and ways of learning are foremost in classroom practices. Technology can be a great tool for reinforcing and therefore promoting positive learning behaviour by students in the classroom. Students who use technologies to track their behaviour in the classroom have shown increases in positive learning and decreases in negative behaviours and their consequences. One of the emerging ways for schools to cater for different learning is through the use of games. The iPads or tablets found inside each classroom contain many games that can be used in many different subject areas such as literacy and mathematic groups, and can be used individually or in a group situation. The interactive whiteboard found at the front of the classroom in the group seating area is a great resource, as it allows for large projection of huge range of digital information and interaction with websites and educational software. This is even better and allows the teacher to do group teaching.